Looks like we're live for our time. I'm a little bit early tonight. I'm going to wait and start it in about 5 more minutes. So I'll let this be up for y'all. Hey everyone, I'm just a little early. I can't see all of you. There you are. I can see Jade's joined us. So I'm hoping everybody can see this okay as we come on. My interface, I can't quite tell who's here and who's not. If you want, you should be able to text me tonight here live with any additional questions on the reading. We've got a few minutes before we start, so hang in there. And once we get started, you'll be able to send me questions, and hopefully I will see them as we get along with this. I'll be multitasking with you. Again, it's Katherine Skaggs, and thanks. Hey, Jade. Um, it is November 30th, 2020, and we're going to do a reading tonight, a full moon reading, to get an idea of all that is going on in our universe. I'm going to double check one of my other places here. I think everybody's watching. We got people joining us. So it's almost 6 o'clock Colorado time. And it's good to be back to see you. It's been a few months. It's been quite a few months since I've done a reading live on Facebook. I've been finishing a book called Artist, Shaman, Healer, Sage, Timeless Wisdom Practices, Ritual, and Ceremony to transform your life and awaken your soul. I'll be announcing more about that in the coming month or two, where you can get that and dive into some shamanic practices. I'll also be offering some free content here on Facebook, as well as some full moon free healings and information on the medicine wheel. So I hope I can be of greater service to you as we move further into completing 2020 and coming into 2021. So I understand we've got an opportunity here to finish up a lot of intense energies that'll help break us open into fertility for new beginnings as we finish this year up and move into the new year. Right now, I am excited to talk to you and to the goddesses with the Mythical Goddess Tarot to support us right now and how to navigate these energies. They've been very intense in 2020. I don't know about you, but I have been riding them, and there's been a few times I've gone under the waves of the tsunami energies coming in, but come back up to the surface to be here now. I like to say one thing about that with all these tumultuous times, there's great opportunity. So the biggest thing we have to do is get beyond the fear that's within us and all around us, so that we can hold more light and let these frequencies lift us up. So I'm going to ask the Mythical Goddess Tarot tonight to bring us some beautiful energy, some illumination, and to support each one of you. And Jade is just commenting there that she actually took my Artist Shaman Healer Sage training. Wow, back in 2010. It has been a while. You were one of my first students, I think, Jade, in that class. Hopefully it's gotten deeper and more exciting. Uh, for those of you who are on, and I know there were many who said they wanted to join us tonight, and to all who will join us at another time with perhaps the reading, I'd like to encourage you to connect a moment to your heart spaces, to tune in to what you most need right now: healing, guidance, illumination. What do you need to know about these times? I had someone text me or email me earlier who knows me and knew I was doing a reading tonight. And she asked a very profound question: when in the world will this pandemic end? What time frame? And I hate to say that I ever predict anything, that I like to look at patterns with the cards and intuitively see what guidance comes through. We're going to ask the goddesses what we need to know about that. And from a shamanic perspective, a metaphysical perspective, we are all collectively dreaming this wild and crazy dream, one of great dismantlement of the old ways of being, so that we can create new and more harmonious ways of being. First of all, by taking personal responsibility to the best that we can for our life circumstance, for how we respond to the energies, and for how we raise our own frequencies and perspectives so that we can engage with greater love. So I'm asking to weave those answers in that you need, and that we need to know about these outer environments and dealing with the pandemic, taking personal responsibility so that we can shapeshift our reality to one of greater cooperation, one of greater illumination and greater heart. One thing I do know is that it's time to stop fighting. It's time to stop struggling. And it's time to lean in to what we desire. That would be a truth of the goddess always, to return home to our heart's desires. So I've been shuffling the cards since before I came on the camera and thinking about this, praying about this. I've lit some Palo Santo. If you would like, light some sage or incense or something that keeps you in your heart while we do the reading. I will be doing a 15-card reading tonight with the Mythical Goddess Tarot. And as I go through this, I will let you know what each card and each section of the reading is about. That's going to shine light on how we can navigate these times with consciousness and give us what we need to know right now for having the best ending of 2020 and a great new way to begin of 2021 to bring greater harmony. So as I look at the cards, there's 3 in the middle of the 15 card spread, and they are about who we are as we enter into the end of this year and how we can navigate what's at hand. And the interesting thing is, the good news, I've got a card that says Beauty, Maiden of Earth. And that is about us on our earth journey and how we are here amidst these crazy times, these oftentimes chaotic and seemingly ugly times when there is struggle. And what this card tells me is that even though there's challenges, even though there's chaos and discomfort in this world right now, and those who are not like us, places where we've been separated from the way we feel and see and the way we approach things. And at our very core is beauty. And it's time for us to reclaim that, to own that piece, to return home to our place on the earth through her beauty, through our connection to beauty, and through the beauty within ourselves, so that we can see and embrace the beauty within another. Because this is one of the first 3 cards, and it is absolutely about who we already are. This is not about attaining this. This is about returning to this and claiming this. Right next to the beauty card is a water suit, the seas suit, and it's called the compassion card. It is the 3 of water, 3 of seas. And this card tells me that deep within us, with that beauty within us and the world around us, that there is compassion that we already own, that we have the capacity to dive deep into our circumstances to find the pearls out of all the challenges emotionally, mentally, and physically in our lives, all the spiritual challenges, that with our very heart and our emotional body, we are compassionate beings at the deepest places when we will go there and reflect. So that's another thing that we need to claim within these challenges, is that for us to progress, for us to manage the chaos or to show up within it without being in suffering, we need to return to compassion within our very heart spaces, to cultivate that, to breathe that, and to work with that. The other piece we need to know as we end this year and deal with the circumstances at large is one of the mental suit cards, the wind, and it's called the Maiden of Wind. She is all about focus and clarity. So as we reclaim our beauty and our connection to the earth, our connection to all that is beautiful within this dualistic reality, and that we connect to the compassion within our hearts that is already there, it's time to return to our focus, to what we intend to create, and to keep our eyes on the goal. You know, the world is full of news that has many different stories, many different politicians, many wars, a lot of conspiracy theories. And I have to say, this card reminds me, and it reminds me to bring to your awareness what we focus on expands. So the only way for us to change our reality is for each of us to be aware of where our focus is. Are we playing in conspiracy and feeding fear? Or are we living in possibility and potential and feeding hope? Are we in conflict, separate and different from one another? Or are we looking for how we can co-create, how we can find similarities and true desires to make it a better world, not only for ourselves, but for everyone involved? I do my best to live by universal laws and truths. Every minute I can come home to that in my consciousness. And one of the things I believe dearly is the golden rule that as we do unto others, it's done unto us. And so it's really important right now to notice where our focus is into how generous our hearts are. How much are we living in prosperity and abundance? How much are we living in solutions instead of problems? Because these are the gifts that we bring to make the world a different place. To end 2020 with a good ending, and to come into 2021 with great possibility, potential, and a foundation that is practical as well as highly spiritual. I think that's a pretty good beginning for our reading. Okay, so the big picture, what we need to know right now is as we complete this year and we move into endings and new beginnings, as we navigate these times, it requires a lot of work to do just what I was saying, to bring in this heavenly, higher vibrational desires and goals to earth through our consciousness and through all our actions, through our words, through our thoughts and our beliefs, through every which way that we speak and we intend and we follow through. This works card is about bringing heaven to earth through our human doings and through our human joy. You know, this card is one where the lady here is dancing, and it's got the influence of Capricorn. So it is about activity, but it is about bringing the higher standards, the higher values through our very being, through every part of our lives into form. So it's time to enact that. And that's what these bigger goals are that we have that are spiritual. That's the big picture for all of us and for our society, for our world at large, is that it's time to embody our higher principles and bring them into form. Whether you're a janitor or you're a president, whether you're a psychic or just living a mundane life, this is about finding the spiritual in the practical. And this is about creating a sacred life through our intentions and bringing it to earth through everything that we do, everything that we are. Another really big piece, which doesn't surprise me, is that we have Pele here in the big picture. And as I mentioned earlier, and you've probably read elsewhere, we are in a place where we are dismantling our reality as we've known it. Everything is being exposed, all the shadows, all the dark misunderstandings, all the places where we've karmically done against another as instead of doing for one another and for ourselves. This is time to burn away all the old and difficult ways of being, and that this is what is happening. We're in the Kali Yuga, or the end times, as many cultures and many prophecies have talked about. We are in a dismantling of our society as we've known it. We're in a taking apart of what doesn't work. And the good news is so that we can create a new with more harmonious ways of being. So if there's areas that you need to release and let go, it's time to do a fire ceremony. It's time to get really honest with yourself. And it's time to sacrifice and surrender what you're attached to that creates suffering. It could be a way of being, it could be a belief system, it could be an old trauma, it could be people in your life that feed the fear. Whatever it happens to be, know that this is about releasing a pattern, and that as you release these old habits, thoughts, emotions, and ways of being, new patterns can come into your reality born of your focus, born of your heart's desires that create greater harmony. It's our heart that knows the way, and we have to get out of the shoulds and the woulds and the couldas so that we can move into the potentiation of what a heart-based life might even look like. We don't have a full map of that. We're in the process of unfolding that now in these new times. So I encourage you to do some releasing, especially as we end this year. Being a full moon, it's great to let go as well as to bring in energy. And so tonight's a great night for us to gather for this very purpose. Another big piece, which is great to talk about on the heels of letting go of everything, is the success card. This is an earth card, and it looks like bunches of money. It's the wonderful pile of money at the end of the rainbow. And this is great news that as we work hard to bring in our higher values and bring them to earth into every part of our lives, as we let go of the old things that are not harmonious or that have disrespected ourselves, we are in the position to bring in true wealth. Not only financial wealth, but spiritual health, health of our country, health of our world, health of our relationships, health in our bodies as we release the stress, as we release the challenges and the chaos. We can return to a place of balance where we manifest what harmony and abundance truly is. And it's something that we share. It's not where someone has it all on the top. It's something that's abundant and available to all of us. And it's something that the earth can give us, as well as the way that each one of us can channel that through our very beings into this world. So I encourage you to dream big, to notice what your actions are and how you create what you desire. Set your intentions to let go and do some ceremony and ritual and cleaning away that which doesn't work. And prepare for receiving all the blessings from all your hard work. Because that's the promise of these times that we are in. And in relationship to clearing away the energy around the pandemic and returning home to ourselves in a more harmonious way, know that the three cards that I just read are all about that. That the pandemic and that this virus has a role in returning us home to something more precious within our beings and within our world. That it's a process of cleaning, that the Pele purifying card is a symbol of cleaning away anything that we have dishonored ourselves. So as we honor and take care of our bodies, as we honor and take care of the food we put in and take responsibility, as we honor our immune systems and give ourselves what we need and rely upon the earth and what in its wholeness can give us, that sets us up for returning to harmony in all of the other places in our physical lives, that there is a correlation there, that the enemy that we've called COVID outside of us is only part of the deal. The predator uh, of COVID, the organism of it, is only going after what already needs to come into more balance. And I say this with great respect and carefulness, is that any place our bodies have held fear or discord, they need tender, loving care. And the more we give it to them, both as a healthcare option, a spiritual option, the calmer we are, the easier it's going to be for our immune systems to be well and healthy to manage this virus. And to move the fear out is going to be one of the big areas that help us to clear this on the planet. But we start with ourselves with practical ways and caring ways to take care of ourselves. All right, what are our challenges with these times and challenges in facing the financial and the health issues and all the concerns in our society? What's interesting is we've mentioned COVID, we mentioned this pandemic as in which there's so many parts and pieces to it. Um, Depletion is in the very center of the spread for our challenges or our lessons. And I was just speaking to taking care of ourselves, to how do we truly take care of ourselves. And this particular card is the emotional suit. And it's about taking care of our emotional body so that our physical body can strive, that we're absolutely worn out. We're depleted emotionally. We are working on how to heal that right now. So that is one of the top things that we need to deal with is how to de-stress, how to let go of the fear, how to lay down and let it be okay not to be doing right now, how to go into retreat and meditation and healing practices. So, however you practice and find your balance, I would highly recommend taking a long sea salt bath with essential oils of frankincense or myrrh or lavender and some various practices where you can de stress your emotional self, your mental thoughts and beliefs. This is a great card to tell you to go into nature, go out into Mother Earth and sit upon her and reflect, be quiet and inward so that your whole body can begin to heal. There's wonderful healing nature, energy in Mother Nature that will help restore you on all levels. Right now, individually and collectively, we are completely emotionally depleted. And that is something that is raising an alarm that we need to care for ourselves and find ways to heal this emotionally. We'll be doing some shamanic healing in the near future, so I will let you know when that happens so that you can join if you would like. Next to the emotional depletion card in this, what our lessons are in this time period, is the self-destruction card. These are profound symbols of what we all know is going on right now. We have incredible destructive energies that we're facing externally as well as internally. We've had governments that have been divisive. We've had political figures that have been divisive. We've felt division in ourselves when people aren't like us, if we are not able to be objective or neutral to others who are different. We've been challenged by fear financially, fear with our health, fear with the health of our loved ones and our families. And so there's been an incredible amount of fearful energy and destructive energy that has been present that we are here to face. One of the first things I find is important is to recognize and honor any fear that you may be experiencing, that you may be feeling. I've seen and experienced where the weakest places, perhaps some of the longest patterns that I've been working on and others have been working on, have reared their heads 10 times more than I would have ever thought because I've been working so hard for so many years to clear places of suffering and unconsciousness. And yet, with these energies, old patterns have arisen so that they can finally collapse and be done. At least that is my experience and belief so far, is that they can be dissolved and destruct, let go beyond anything I can imagine in my human self and all that I could hope for in my spiritual self. So be honest with places where you're angry, where you're depleted, where you feel things are falling apart. Because when you can be honest, you can do a ceremony and a ritual to say, I let go now. Even if you don't know what it is exactly, you can work with fire in this manner or other ceremonies and rituals to burn away these difficult patterns. Within this particular self destructive pattern, with it being fire, I know that everyone's livers are on fire right now and anger is high, and that it's something to be dealt with both by good food, by recognizing if this is something going on that you feel more heated and up critically, and to do what you can to soften yourself, to take that sea salt bath, to take a walk in nature, to do a fire ceremony where you write out, speak out, act out all the challenges that you may be undergoing right now, and to put them into the fire for transformation and alchemy. Because if we can go through the fire and submit all the patterns to the fire, we will come out as enlightened beings, as the one who raises up from the fires, purified into a new state of being. So this card actually beckons us to purify ourselves. And I think that is really essential as we let go of old ways of being and old critical attitudes, old ways of feeling, any trauma, any fear based on trauma. Um, and fear is here too. We've got our emotions, we've got our passions at stake, and we have all the places mentally where we've held fear that are up to be cleaned and cleared. These lessons are not a surprise to me. They look like politics to me. They look like old structures that don't serve all people to me. They look like all the ways that we've been at odds with one another and ourselves, where we haven't been happy or we haven't been secure in our own journey. So it's time to face the fear, to clean our minds, meditation, and conscious intentions of what you would like different, how you would like to dream anew. Even if you don't have any idea how you're going to get there, what would you truly dream right now? And it would be a great exercise to write down what your true heart's desires are, even if you have a, but I don't know how. Or, well, I have no idea how to get there. Who's going to help me here? I'm not sure I really want that because I don't know what it really, how to be responsible for it. I will guarantee you, if you will do an exercise, especially as we move into December toward the end of the year, where you write down your true heart's desires, and on the other side of the page or on a separate sheet of paper, write down all your limitations. Write them out. Put a color to them for the emotion. If you feel angry or scared, find some really powerful colors of red and oranges and blacks to express those feelings and get them outside yourself. And then when it's time, submit those things you're letting go of into the fire, particularly the fears. We'll do some healing things coming up so that you can get an experience of cleaning away these things through your intention, so that you can not only just take responsibility, but to actually get an option where you feel renewed and possible in your life. Hope that was helpful. We got a lot to clean away. And yet together we can do a pretty big job when each one of us does a little bit. Okay. What's our action to come to greater harmony, to navigate these times, to clean away the fear around the pandemic, and to actually complete and end that stage, to come into greater financial abundance and back into community, back into harmony? And one of the first things, it's another fire card, it's the creative spark. And what's really cool about this card being here is that it tells me take time to be creative. Take time to dream like a child. If you remember when you were a kid and you were always dreamed about something you were going to do when you were bigger, older, an adult? It's time to do that again, to go into your childlike innocence and to begin dreaming anew. This is fire. This is passion. This is possibility. So get your crayons out, get your paints out, uh, dream of something new and then dance. Let it go alive in your body. What is the feeling of pleasure again, of creating in pleasure? The goddess tells us that we need to come home to pleasure, and our childlike nature is one of our gifts to getting there. In the medicine wheel, this would be engaging with the new light of the east, of the sunrise, and the cosmic void of all possibility. Your child, your inner child, has much to help you to move into a new life that's born of harmony and happiness. So call upon your child to play, to be creative, to dream new ways of being, and to see what happens. What if? What if it just got better? All right, the other thing that we're working on and that we need to really do a good job with is to have better boundaries. Now, when I look at boundaries card, this is an earth card and it's got these four goats there with these horns that look like they've created an impenetrable mandala of a boundary where you can't get in. And yet I like to think of boundaries as fences to uh, hold higher frequencies in a container of what I truly love and desire, to create a sacred space, and that I only allow the energies of love, I only allow the energies of fulfillment and happiness into that container. So I protect everything in that dream and in my family and in my heart with higher vibrations of love. That way, low frequencies of fear can't get into the container. They're not allowed. So work on what you truly desire and recognize what are these things that sabotage you, that take your energy, that you no longer want to engage with. And you will learn greater boundaries by focusing on your desire and knowing the difference between what is happiness and what is fear, what is joyful community and what is divisiveness. And most of all, as you learn this, have good boundaries with yourself. Set intentions for all you desire in your life in harmony and in joy. And you'll notice all that really is going to feed you, that you're going to get to know it much better. I realize it's very hard to see everybody here tonight uh, with so much going on. I love seeing you though. So let's work on boundaries in a way that create love. What would it be like to know that every time someone visited your website or you contacted them on Facebook is that you had a great exchange, or that someone got a healing, that you set that as one of your perimeters? It's like a guideline or a rule for your life and the way you express it, that you begin to ponder, how good can this get? And that will offset the fear and begin to shift how things work for you and work for all of us. The other piece we need to really bring into our world through our actions is purity of heart. This is another water card, the emotional suit. I love this mermaid. I'm sorry for the flash on my camera there. But she's all about that pure heart. She is all about living in the heart, being pure of mind, pure of heart, pure of actions, pure in our soul sense, returning home to the purity of the child. So, what is that like when your heart is clean and pure? Take time to use smudging, saging, prayer, heartfelt intentions, heartfelt desires, and imagine how that can move you forward in every area of your life. If you can't imagine it yet, then set your intentions that your heart knows the way, and that through every effort, every desire, you get there into greater and greater harmony. That your heart is purified through tears and through your desire to be in love and joy once again. Like, these are really awesome cards. All right. What's the outcome as we move down the road here of life? As we finish 2020, I'm so glad, aren't you? And we move into this place of death and rebirth, death of a year, death of a lot of crazy cycles, and rebirth into greater possibilities. And since we are on the full moon, I'd say this is look at the cycles over the next month, or at least over the next 2 weeks until we get to the new moon, and then track that to the next full moon in December and how you end this month and into the new year. So I'll guarantee you we've got some big shift at hand over the next 28 days, but this is a longer cycle than that based on the questions that were being asked. So cool outcomes. I mean, positive, positive, positive outcome. Right in the center is the ace of manifestation. It's an ace of earth. And I'll tell you that Sage Holloway, the author of the Mythical Goddess Tarot deck and a dear friend of mine, who's no longer on this earth, but is definitely here with us tonight and always around, she shows us the ace of manifestation. And I remember when she was teaching me about creating these cards and all their meanings, she told me something very important that I always remember. And that is that the aces are always a reflection and a sign of guides and angels being here to help, and that there is no real challenge in this card. This ace of manifestation tells me we have a breakthrough coming, that we have good things coming to earth, that our desires to heal, that our desires to come into abundance and community and happiness, that they are here to come to earth right away. That if we will do these things recommended to clean our hearts, to let go of the past, to focus on what we truly desire, is that we're going to be able to, with great support from our heavenly realms and from our earth helpers, to bring to earth what we truly desire. So stay in your heart spaces and know that what you ask for is coming to you. Because right next to the ace of manifestation is Lakshmi, and she is the goddess of heaven and earth. She's the wheel of fortune in our deck. And she symbolizes that what you ask for is given, that this is our divine mother in heaven who's going to give us what we ask for on earth. So let's take responsibility to clean away the fear, to dream big, and to act every day as if everything is always given to us. And to also look at our fellow brothers and sisters on this planet and know that they're truly our kin, and that together we're doing this, that we're in this together. The other card that's in the outcome is Sacred Law. And this is a really important card, too, to have in the outcome next to these other two cards, because I see that we're fulfilling karmic debt, that this card is a symbol of balance. It's a symbol of death and rebirth to me, and sacred law, that no man's law can keep from us what is divinely ours. And we are in a full reset on a spiritual level to come up into raised consciousness, to come into greater harmony, to move through the chaos into harmony within ourselves, so that we may find that with one another. And when I see this in the outcome with all the questions that we have, it tells me that we are rectifying something within ourselves, that we are healing, and that we're coming into a place where we can have greater balance once again, that we can understand from a higher perspective who we are, why we're here, and how to be in relationship with other humans, with all our animals, with the waters, with the planet, with the air. And that it's our responsibility to take care of one another and to take care of this planet and all our resources. And that as we do, everything comes back into balance. So I hope this reading was helpful today. I'm very uplifted to see that I know that we've got work, that we've got purification and cleaning to do. But I think we've come a long way through 2020 so that we can finish it in style, that we can consciously have choices to do things that are born of greater love, and that we can return home, be grounded, practical, and yet lifted up into manners that bring everyone to greater harmony. So I'm going to invite you to join me again and again in the coming weeks. that we may be in our heart spaces together, that we know that we're not alone, that we have many guides, helpers, angels, and that our prayers are heard. I will be inviting you to a shamanic ceremony in the next 2 weeks that'll be live on Facebook to bless and to help us clean and clear. And I'll give you some other opportunities coming up that you can join me for other events. But I love seeing all of you here. I will go through and I'll read all of your comments. And I know that you are blessed. May you be the blessing wherever you are and know that's who you are. May you find the blessings that you need given to you. My prayers are that you receive as much as you give and so much more, and that our world comes together because we are willing to do so, and that we are willing too to ask for help if we need it. So I thank you all. I love you all. Many blessings.